Good evening, everyone. You're watching Dollars and Dreams, the channel that takes you behind the scenes of fame and fortune. I'm Michael Carter, your host, and tonight, we're bringing you an exclusive story about Sean Diddy Combs, a tale full of shocking twists, legal battles, and unexpected revelations. Stay with us, you won't believe what happens next. Don't forget to subscribe for more insider stories. My earpiece crackles. Michael, tease it a bit more. My producer, Sarah, whispers. Keep them hooked. Picture this: a man who's been a cultural icon for over 3 decades, a Grammy winner, a fashion mogul, a kingmaker in music. Sean Combs, known to the world as Puff Daddy P. Diddy, or simply Diddy, has been untouchable, until now. Whispers of scandal have turned into screams, and tonight, we have exclusive details, eyewitness accounts, and a timeline that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about fame, power, and accountability. This isn't just a story about one man, it's about an empire, a legacy, and the cost of unchecked influence. Let's dive in. Sean Combs wasn't born with a silver spoon. He came from Harlem, a kid with big dreams and bigger ambition. Born in 1969, he grew up in a world where survival meant hustle. By the early 90s, he was a young intern at Uptown Records, learning the ropes of the music industry. But Combs didn't just want to play the game, he wanted to rewrite the rules. In 1993, he founded Bad Boy Entertainment, a label that would launch legends like the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, and Mary J. Blige. Bad Boy wasn't just a label, it was a movement. It was hip-hop's heartbeat. I don't need the teleprompter for this. I've lived this era, felt the pulse of Bad Boy's music in my bones. My voice deepens, carrying the weight of nostalgia. Combs was more than a producer. He was a visionary. He turned beats into brands, music into money. By the late 90s, he was Puff Daddy, dominating the charts with hits like "I'll Be Missing You." He wasn't just making music, he was building an empire. Sean John clothing, Ciroc vodka, reality TV shows like Making the Band, Combs was everywhere. By 2022, his net worth was estimated at $400 million, though whispers of $1 billion fortune swirled. He was a global icon, honored with BET Awards, VMAs, even a key to New York City. Michael, ease into the conflict, Sarah says in my earpiece. I nod, my jaw tightening. But empires don't rise without shadows. For every award, every sold-out show, there were rumors. Whispers of control, of manipulation, of a darker side to the man who seemed to have it all. And those whispers? They started getting louder in November 2023, when a single lawsuit cracked the foundation of Diddy's world. It began with Cassandra Ventura, known as Cassie, the R&B singer who was once Combs' protege and romantic partner. On November 16, 2023, she filed a civil lawsuit under New York's Adult Survivors Act, alleging a decade of abuse, rape, and coercion at Combs' hands. The claims were explosive: physical beatings, forced participation in drug-fueled sex parties called freak-offs, and a level of control that left her bruised, broken, and silenced. The lawsuit settled the next day for an undisclosed sum, with Combs denying the allegations. But the damage was done. I pause, letting the weight of Cassie's story sink in for the audience. Cassie's lawsuit wasn't just a headline, it was a spark. Over the next few months, more voices emerged. By early 2024, 5 more lawsuits accused Combs of sexual misconduct dating back to the 1990s. A producer, Rodney Jones, claimed Combs assaulted him while working together. A model, Crystal McKinney, alleged he drugged and assaulted her in 2003. A woman named April Lampros said the abuse spanned years. And then, a chilling claim, a Michigan inmate, Derek Lee Cardello Smith, accused Combs of assaulting him at a 1997 party, winning a $100 million default judgment when Combs failed to appear in court. "Michael, bring in the federal angle," Sarah says in my earpiece. My pulse spikes. But the civil suits were just the beginning. On March 25, 2024, federal agents raided Combs' mansions in Los Angeles and Miami. The images were surreal: helicopters circling, agents swarming, computers and devices seized. They found narcotics, weapons, including 3 illegally modified AR-15s, and bizarrely, over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. The Department of Homeland Security called it an ongoing investigation. 6 months later, on September 16, 2024, Combs was arrested in Manhattan. The indictment was a bombshell: 3 counts: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. My voice lowers, almost a whisper, drawing the audience closer. The charges painted a picture of a man who allegedly used his empire to orchestrate a decades-long scheme of abuse. Prosecutors claimed Combs lured women with promises of love and fame, only to trap them in a cycle of violence, drugs, and coercion. The freak-offs, days-long, drug-fueled sex marathons, often filmed, became the centerpiece of the allegations. Victims, prosecutors said, were intimidated, drugged, and silenced, with Combs' inner circle allegedly complicit in covering it up. I'm speaking from memory now, from hours spent poring over court documents, witness testimonies, and grainy surveillance footage. The trial, United States v. Combs, began on May 5, 2025, in a Manhattan federal courtroom. The stakes couldn't have been higher: a possible life sentence if convicted on all counts. Combs pleaded not guilty. His legal team, led by Mark Agnifilo, a veteran attorney known for defending high-profile clients. Agnifilo called it an unjust prosecution, insisting Combs was a self-made entrepreneur targeted by overzealous prosecutors and opportunistic accusers. I leaned forward, my voice steady but heavy. The prosecution's case was relentless. Cassie Ventura took the stand for 4 grueling days, detailing a decade of abuse. She spoke of beatings that left her with black eyes, of being forced into freak-offs with male sex workers while Combs watched, of a life controlled by fear. A 2016 surveillance video, aired by CNN, showed Combs attacking her in a hotel hallway, kicking, shoving, dragging her across the floor. The footage was played frame by frame for the jury, each blow a hammer to Combs' legacy. My voice catches slightly, a flicker of empathy breaking through. I clear my throat, steadying myself. Other witnesses followed. A woman known as Jane, who dated Combs from 2021 to 2024, testified about coercion and intimidation. Rapper Kid Cudi alleged Combs broke into his home and firebombed his Porsche in a jealous rage over his relationship with Cassie. A makeup artist and a male escort claimed they saw Combs' violence firsthand. The prosecution painted Combs as the head of a criminal enterprise, using his power to exploit and silence. "Michael, we've got an eyewitness on the line." "Patch her in," Sarah says. My heart races. This is live, unscripted, raw. Let's go to an exclusive interview now. On the line is Tania Wallace, an aspiring singer-songwriter who attended a freak-off party in 2018. Tania, thank you for joining us. Can you describe what you saw? Tania's voice is steady but laced with pain. Tania, it was surreal, Michael. I was invited to this party in Miami, flown in from LA by someone connected to Diddy. There were drugs everywhere, and children were present. I saw things I can't unsee. People were pressured to do things they didn't want to. It wasn't a party, it was something else. I swallow hard, Tania's words hanging heavy. Thank you, Tania. That's chilling. We'll have more from her later, but her account aligns with others who've come forward, painting a picture of a world where power twisted into something dark. We're nearing the end of the broadcast, the tension palpable. My tie feels tight, my palms damp. On July 2nd, 2025, after 3 days of deliberation, the jury delivered its verdict. The courtroom was a powder keg. Combs sat stone-faced, his family in the gallery, their eyes locked on the jury foreperson. Not guilty on racketeering conspiracy. Not guilty on 2 counts of sex trafficking. But guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, in violation of the Mann Act. I pause, letting the words sink in for the audience. The acquittals were a victory for Combs' team. Mark Agnifilo called it a great victory for the jury system, insisting Combs had never sexually assaulted or trafficked anyone. But the guilty verdicts carried weight, up to 10 years per count, with a sentencing date set for October 3, 2025. Judge Arun Subramanian denied bail, citing Combs' history of violence. Combs, detained since his arrest, dropped to his knees in prayer, his family erupting in applause and tears. But he wasn't going home. Not yet. I leaned back slightly, my voice steady but heavy. The verdict was a paradox. A man cleared of the gravest charges but convicted of crimes that still carry serious consequences. Outside the courthouse, it was chaos. Crowds shouted, some jeering with references to the baby oil found in the raids. Combs' lawyers praised the jury but slammed the media for what they called a 2-year smear campaign. Wrap it up, Michael. Leave them wanting more, Sarah says in my earpiece. As we speak, Combs remains in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, awaiting sentencing. His empire, Bad Boy Sean John, his partnerships with Diageo, Macy's, Hulu, has crumbled. His music has been pulled from some radio stations, his honorary doctorate from Howard University revoked, his key to New York City rescinded. I pause, my voice softening, tinged with empathy. But this story isn't over. Over 50 civil lawsuits are still pending, with allegations of rape, assault, and abuse stretching back decades. Some claim Combs drugged and assaulted them, others that his inner circle enabled it all. A lawyer, Tony Busby, says over 3,200 people have contacted his firm with allegations. The truth, as always, is a moving target. I lean forward, my voice firm but hopeful. What does this mean for Sean Combs? For his legacy? For the industry he helped shape? These are questions we'll keep asking here at Dollars and Dreams. Fame and fortune come at a cost, and tonight, we've seen just how high that price can be. Stay with us as we follow this story, and others, wherever they lead. That's all for tonight. I'm Michael Carter, and this is Dollars and Dreams. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell, and join us tomorrow for more stories that cut through the noise.